Guys, how's it going? Excited to be with you today. I'm pretty pumped up. I've got this guy named Sean of Invest with Fire that's going to be on with me today. We're going to talk all things crypto related, NFT, metaverse. It's a whole crazy large world. Bitcoin just opened up an exchange traded fund and ETFs. I don't know if you saw that news and hit its highest point just yesterday. So like interesting topics to be talking about. And so I'm excited to have him on with me. We'll get to it in just a second. All right, let's bring him on now. Sean, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you, Brooks?
I am doing well. I'm glad to have you. We met the final day of FinCon media conference. I'm glad we got to meet, which is really cool because I saw that you're growing a YouTube channel like me, and you focus on a lot of things in related to crypto and stuff. And so I think it's super cool. So I was like, man, I gotta have you on here and us have a discussion about it. So hopefully you're game for all that today.
Yeah, man. I'm open to talk about this all the time. Just there's so much to learn in it.
Yeah.
And there's just endless amounts of things you could learn about in this field.
What's your background? How did you get into crypto, and how did you get into all this stuff? Like what's your story?
Yeah, so I got back into it around 2017,
Okay.
when my roommate was investing in crypto. And back at
Okay.
that, yeah, back in that time, like it was just insane. Like he was just on his laptop glued to it, and he's all like, dude, like I keep putting money in this stuff and it keeps going up. And
Really?
I
Okay.
but I thought it was just crazy because I would ask him like, okay, why is it going up? He's all, I don't know, man. Like maybe it's the year of the dog, so I'm gonna put some money in Dogecoin and just see where it goes, man. And I just thought it was just so insane, and I didn't touch it back then. But after it crashed, that's when I started kind of getting interested in a bit. And then it just kind of just led me to me buying Bitcoin for the first time, reading about it, and just
Yeah.
kind of just slowly built up from there.
Okay, cool. No, that's cool. Why it's kind of interesting that crash, I guess we were talking about when Bitcoin kind of dropped back down to probably like 10-ish thousand dollars a Bitcoin. Is that the crash kind of that you're
I
is that about the same time?
No, it crashed lower than that, but I'm
Okay.
talking about when Bitcoin peaked up near like $19,000,
Okay.
back in 17, 18.
All
Yeah,
right.
and then I think it went down and back like, I don't know, 4 to 5, and then yeah. So
Got it. Got it. Okay. So, yeah, I guess in the world of crash, like what is a crash? Was there a reason, like any idea of why after that it dropped so dramatically, or is it just the world of crypto in general is just super volatile? Any ideas on that?
mm. Yeah, a good question. It's just like euphoria is how I can explain it. It's euphoria that led the price to drive up way, way past where, shall I say, it's where it should be trading at.
Mm-hmm.
When you start talking about it, and then you tell your other friend, and then your other friend tells the other friend, dude, I like it keeps going up. It keeps going up,
Yeah.
and
So
then
so
yeah,
straight trading on like hype versus like fundamentals of the currency itself or the asset itself. Is that kind of what you're saying? Like that hype added to it?
greed. That's
Yeah,
all I can
agreed.
say. It's
But there's no
greed, man.
that like, is there any difference in crypto and like any other asset, like on the stock market, right? Like, I mean, that happens in every asset, right? Like there's greed involved in that too. But I guess
Hmm.
crypto just has this crazy excitement around it.
Hmm.
It's not boring. It's like crazy cool, and people just want a piece. And they're like, "What? Can I make 5,000?" Which obviously throws in a bunch of just random money into it, doesn't it? I
Yeah,
mean, it's not like, I
yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, all this stuff is so new. We're still figuring out like versatility, like usability and functionality of all this actual stuff, right? So in
Yeah.
reality, you're kind of just throwing like either random money or like faith money. Like, I think this is going to be something. Like
Hmm.
is what I'm saying on target, do you think, or would you totally disagree with kind of my take on it?
Yeah, that's definitely a factor. that's involved with it. I mean, so with stocks, there's an actual company behind,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
ticker symbol. A crypto, I mean, like don't get me wrong, there's definitely technology involved with it. And what makes this market cycle peak or market cycle different compared to the previous market cycle is that the technology has developed more for crypto. But let's be honest here. I mean, most people buy cryptos to make money and
Yes.
speculate. Let's
Yes.
just admit that.
Right.
Let's not beat
Exactly.
around the bush. Yeah. So, but there is definitely utility now more than there was previously. Like we have with NFTs, decentralized finance. Those are two big bullish things I see for crypto right now.
NFTs and yeah. Okay. So, and I was just going to pop this on the screen, like while you're talking, I was like, so, okay, I think I said this earlier, but like, so Bitcoin just hit its newest high, after this fund just went, live the other day, Tuesday, like literally a few days ago from you and me talking. And that, I guess that's kind of monumental for crypto in a bit because it means that the SEC has said, okay, we'll allow this into this fund that's
Hmm.
traded on the actual market where, like, I'm going to call it old people. Like, that's not true, but it's like old people can now invest in it because they can buy in their brokerage account. They can buy an exchange traded fund that
Yeah.
is apparently it's trading. It's like it's invest. I did a little research on it last night. Apparently, it's investing in futures of Bitcoin. I guess the future value of Bitcoin. But I mean, I guess that's monumental for Bitcoin per se and for crypto in general because I mean, obviously it's monumental because the price just like kind of skyrocketed, and then with it like Ethereum and probably other stuff. I don't know. I mean, you could tell me, but like I'm assuming that's a pretty big like inflection point for crypto or like a new like hoorah type moment. Like, would you say that that's a pretty big deal for crypto and obviously Bitcoin? But I mean, is it like how big of a deal do you think this is that fund just started?
Yeah. This is huge.
Okay.
Um, it's huge in two main ways. One way is that it lets the common retail investor invest in crypto without having to like figure out everything, right? Like you don't
Yeah.
have to figure out hardware wallets or how to store it, where to buy it, where to convert fiat to Bitcoin and then buy Ethereum with Bitcoin.
Exactly.
It doesn't force you to do that because this exchange doesn't actually hold crypto. You know,
Yep.
Two is the regulation, just like you said, like the SEC. That is a huge kind of that was always like a shall I say like a fear of cryptos, right? Like if you have the U.S. government regulating or even banning crypto, right, that would really slow down the adoption of this technology.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have the centralization factor where you can't really take down Bitcoin anyways. But if the government doesn't allow crypto to happen, it would be really hard for it to be adopted because people are generally law-abiding citizens and they
Yep.
don't want to break the law or get in trouble. And these companies wouldn't be able to, exchange crypto either. So those are two huge things that this ETF did.
Good. That's a good point, man. Yeah, you're right. Like people don't want to be. I mean, it's only a small percentage that's like the renegades, right? That are like, forget the government, forget rules. Like, yeah, you're right. Most people are like, yeah, okay. Like if that's a rule, I'll follow it or whatever. So no, that's a great point. So probably a big reason why the prices shot up. I mean, one, there was apparently over $1 billion of investment. It was this. I read it was the second biggest launch of a traded fund, only behind like one other fund. So that speaks volumes of it, like going onto the
Hmm.
market as an ETF and like having that much volume in one day. And so yeah, and just like confidence, I guess. Yeah, and, I guess also shot the price up, which is very interesting to me. All right, so I don't want to forget because earlier you mentioned some of the interesting stuff. I think you said, did you say NFTs and decentralized finance, like DeFi? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with DeFi. Man, let's talk DeFi. Let's start there because I am like clueless. It's funny. I'm like a guy that scrapes the surface on trying to understand some of this stuff, and I think most people they're probably like me. I probably dig deeper than most people, but most people I don't think they care. They don't care about, like, I heard a good analogy. Like, they don't care about the recipe of the chocolate chip cookies. They just want a delicious cookie. Like, just give me a cookie, right? Like, I don't need to know about the underlying blockchain that you're transferring and trying to speed it up and all this kind of stuff or whatever. But like, if you were going to explain DeFi to me, because I honestly don't even completely get it, how would you kind of describe it, and like, and what are the opportunities there?
Yeah, I mean, how I would describe it is basically is decentralized finance is trying to replace the traditional finance industry.
Okay.
Um, so there's a lot of exciting products out there, and there's different types of decentralized finance, of course. The two main types I'll talk about are centralized and decentralized exchanges, or yeah, exchanges or accounts. So, for example, when I say centralized, there's a couple companies like Blockfi and
Yep.
Celsius, and
Okay.
you could think of those as two centralized banks in which you can gain interest on your crypto. So it's
Got it.
pretty awesome. So you can deposit like Bitcoin or Ethereum or even other stable coins such as USDC and earn a good interest on it between 5 to 8% on your crypto. So you're actually earning money with your crypto instead of just having it sit on the sidelines doing nothing, you know?
That's so
Uh,
crazy. Yeah, that's
yeah,
so crazy. So I've okay, and when you said decentralized or centralized,
correct.
this is all under DeFi, decentralized finance, correct? Or no?
Yes, from my understanding, yes,
Okay.
because you're using when there's crypto involved, it's
Hmm.
just considered decentralized finance,
Got it.
um, but like yeah, so BlockFi and Celsius, they're actually a centralized DeFi platform because
Okay.
it's a company behind it. So you're depositing your money in the company, and now what you have to understand with crypto is that when you don't have the keys to your coins, then
Hmm.
you don't actually hold your coins. And that's what you're doing by depositing your crypto on these exchanges.
So by depositing your coins on these exchanges, you are keeping. I guess say that one more time for me. You're keeping access, or you're giving up access.
You're basically giving up ownership to
Yep.
your crypto.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I bring that up because there has been many instances where exchanges have been hacked,
Yep.
or what they do to earn this interest on your money is they can lend it out. And so if they lend it out, if they lend it out to another company and that company goes belly up, they could lose your crypto too.
Yep.
So since you don't have your keys, you don't actually have the coins. You have to understand that, and so that's what you're trading off. You're trading off security for getting this interest.
Got it. Got it. And so and even a company, I mean, I guess that operates also like that, that is a publicly traded company. So like Coinbase would operate under that. Like they also hold all your crypto, correct? Like it's the same
Correct.
concept there. Yeah, I guess.
I guess the difference is that you can still take your crypto off. Coinbase is mainly an exchange,
Okay. Okay.
and BlockFi and Celsius, they offer more like banking services. Like
Okay.
you could borrow against your crypto. You could get a new credit card where you earn interest on crypto too. So a lot of new exciting products.
Got it. So okay. So, and the only way to get involved with those is obviously if you have crypto in the first place. So, in order to obviously lend your crypto, I mean, can you get a credit card if you don't already have crypto? I don't know. I guess I'm curious with that, but also like, how is it that these guys, like, not even those two companies, but DeFi, like, how is it that they're looking to upend the traditional finance? Because like I guess the way I see it, like fintech in general to me is super cool. Like what's going on with a lot of products right now, like just
Mhm,
things like anytime you can remove friction from a process, like to me that's great and that's good for consumers, right? Like if you
mhm,
can make getting a loan easier, or you can make banking easier, which is happening right now with like all the neo banks, like everything, Dave, Stash, Chime, whatever, all these banks that like are not even
mhm,
banks. They're all working under the charter of some giant bank that's probably slow moving, but they're like, hey man, we'll just build an app on top of that. And
mhm.
I guess that's obviously that's central. I'm gonna call it centralized finance or whatever, normal banking, but it's cool. And I like that. What is like this DeFi blows my mind. So DeFi is trying to kind of upend all of that and make that turn upside down. Is that
Correct. So,
okay?
getting to the centralized portion of it, there are other exchanges, or you say other platforms, where you don't need like the traditional banking system. So, for example, there are exchanges out there where it's not centralized, it's not owned by a company, but you have people involved where they provide, um, shall I say, the crypto or the liquidity behind it. So, for example, like you can put in crypto in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can lend it out to other people. So it's peer to peer versus one central location. So if you lend it
Okay.
out, you gain an interest since you're lending it out to other people. And so, yeah, you can think of it that way. It's peer to peer versus just a central company behind it.
Got it. And so it's decentralizing because all of these, I guess it's like, I mean, obviously, I'm sure the blockchain is a part of it. So everything is, there's a ledger, I guess, for everything and everything's recorded, I guess, publicly. And so that's probably a part of it as well, I guess, where like you
Mhm.
see all these transactions. So it's like everything's out in the open kind of thing. I'm assuming that's a part of the tech too, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a factor with it, especially with Bitcoin.
Okay, so DeFi. Okay, so if you were to sum up, I feel like if I keep going down that, it's going to be a rabbit hole, and it'll get
Mhm.
over my head, over other people's heads. Like, DeFi is kind of is a newer thing. I would say a newer thing that's built on top of the blockchain because the underlying technology exists. These companies can now exist, I guess. What do you think we should be just kind of paying attention to or looking out for in the world of like DeFi? You think like is there more stuff you see coming, or do you just think more of this? Like what should we be paying attention to?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just purely for me, I'm paying attention to earning interest on my crypto. Um,
Got it.
so there's another thing you can do with decentralized finance, which is called staking, in which you have to basically stake your crypto,
Hmm.
and you help process transactions by staking your crypto. So it's almost like earning interest, but in a different way, in which you're helping the blockchain move and work. And that's another form of decentralized finance where you can actually earn interest on your crypto. So making money with my money is the main thing I'm looking at with decentralized finance. And
Got it.
and if I can get away from the traditional finance and banking system, that's great too.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So we got a comment here because we're live. Brad
Oh,
Long says
Brad.
DeFi rocks. He say just stake some of his Cardano at 4.91%. So that's cool, Brad. And Brad, I know you own some a good bit of Bitcoin as well. I'm sure you're pretty pumped about the recent high prices. So I'm sure he's excited about that. So okay, so DeFi, super cool. We'll be looking into that. Let me ask. Let's move to NFTs, but before we get there, like cryptocurrencies, any idea how many there are? I know are there hundreds? Are there thousands? Like I don't even know. Any idea?
Oh, I don't know the exact number, but I'm
Yeah.
sure there's more than, I mean, there's thousands,
Okay.
thousands out there.
What and there's probably thousands. There's probably thousands that have already come and gone. Would that be, do you think that's accurate too? That have like already
Um,
disappeared? I mean, I know I'm throwing these numbers
yeah,
out here, but like
yeah,
there's a lot that have disappeared, right?
correct. There is a lot that disappeared. Yeah.
So what is a crypto? And this is going to sound super basic, but I'm just going to ask it. Like, what is a cryptocurrency, and why do we need so many? Why do all these companies or why do all these people feel like they need to develop one, or theirs is better? Like, why can't everyone just get excited about the five that are already there and just get on the train with them? Like, why do you think
Hmm.
why do you think all these people are like wanting to make their own cryptos?
Hmm. Yeah. Man. So
I'm not expecting you to know to like
Yeah,
have the answer or know the answer. I'm just curious what your take, because you're in this every day. Like I'm not. I just
yeah,
see a list of these things. And I'm like, this is
yeah,
crazy. I literally need to spend full time if I wanted to be knowledgeable about this. I would literally have to dive in this full time, and I'm not going to. So I'm like, hey, these are the kind of questions I want to ask or talk about and try to figure out this stuff.
yeah. It's there's a lot to it. So, first off, I guess we could think about Bitcoin, right? And what the whole problem or the problem that Bitcoin tackled, I believe is called something like the Byzantine problem. I'm probably saying that wrong.
I think,
But
yeah, I've heard that word or seen it.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the whole thing it was trying to solve is how do you pay someone without having an intermediary in which you have to, make sure that that person gets your money without having like a middle party in it. Like how we have right now, our traditional banking system or like Visa, right? Like if you
Right.
pay a merchant, you have to have Visa be the middle person, make sure that, that you pay, the merchant gets the money, right? The transactions go through, that you can actually trust each party.
Exactly.
That's what Bitcoin tried to solve is that problem, that trust of actually paying someone and that person receiving that problem. I mean, that
Without
money.
Yeah, without having the third party to settle the transaction, I guess, is where
Correct.
you're going. Yeah, okay. Um,
Correct.
got it.
A- yeah, and then so the reason why, um, there's a lot of cryptocurrencies because they're all trying to solve different problems,
Mhm.
or they're trying to become the ultimate like cryptocurrency. And what I mean by that is that there's something called the um, there's a trilemma in which all these cryptocurrencies are trying to solve speed, decentralization, and sorry, so speed, security, and decentralization.
Gotcha.
Those are three things that they're all trying to solve. And when you try to improve one, you actually slow down the other two.
Okay. That
So
makes sense.
that's why you hear about all these like cryptocurrencies and they kind of sound similar in their kind of technology because that's what they're all trying to do. So for example, let's just say you want to increase the speed of a cryptocurrency, right? Because that's the whole thing about cryptocurrency is that you want to transact, you want to ideally
Exactly.
use this cryptocurrency to buy a cup of coffee, and then
Exactly.
you can buy something else with it, right? But if you're going to have millions of transactions,
Yep.
and for example, Visa does, I think, can do 100,000 transactions per second, but Bitcoin can only do about 7 transactions per second.
Right. Too slow.
So
That's not gonna work.
wait,
Yeah.
yeah, way too slow.
Mhm.
So if you try to increase the speed, um, you may have to increase the data size, right? Because you're going to have a million transactions in a second, right? But
Yep.
if you do that, then you may have to have less validators because this is I know it's diving in, but you're going to have to have less validators to process those transactions because they need more data to actually like be a node. Like they need to store all those transactions in one place. So you're going to have less people validating transactions, and that means it's going to be less decentralized because there's going to be less people, less computers that you can actually attack on the network.
Gotcha. So yeah, I gotcha. So every other crypto that's kind of come on, Ethereum, et cetera, all these they're trying to solve, or they're saying, hey, we can do that better, or we can do that whatever. We can improve upon this process. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, why can't you have, I mean, I guess it's like any other business or any other anything, like a bunch of people enter the market, a bunch of people get knocked off, and then you
Hmm.
have the supreme rise to the top, right? And time will tell, I guess. I think, like, I don't think you and I would, obviously we're both on the crypto, like I think we both agree crypto's here to stay. Like I don't think it's going anywhere, so I don't even need to like go into that or whatever. Let me ask. I'm gonna call this a. I don't know if it's a basic question or not, but I'm just like I don't get this. What is so you have like Ethereum, which is uh Ethereum, which is itself a cryptocurrency, but then there's things built on top of Ethereum, and there's like tokens, right? Like on Ethereum or something. Aren't those tokens like their own cryptocurrency? And how does that
Correct.
work?
Yeah.
If Ethereum, if ETH itself is a
Yeah.
cryptocurrency, how are there tokens that are like on or built on Ethereum? Like that blows my mind. I don't get it.
Correct. So that they're all trying to solve, the same problem with speed, decentralization, and why am I forgetting it? Speed, security, and decentralization, right? So
Speed, security,
uh,
decentralized. Okay.
yeah, SSD. And so there's something called layer one and layer two.
Mm-hmm.
There's also layer zero, but you could think of as layer one as a foundation, and that is like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then layer two, those cryptocurrencies are trying to solve other problems, like the whole trilemma off the blockchain, to in order to, for example, increase the speed. So, for example, uh, with Bitcoin, they have something called the Lightning Network.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
and what the Lightning Network is basically is it's like a bar tab. If you go to a bar and you open up a tab, right, and you say, okay, I'll buy beer, and peanuts, and just keep it on my tab, and I'll pay you at the end, right? That's what Bitcoin's trying, or that's what the Lightning Network is trying to do. So you have Bitcoin right here as a foundation. On top of that, you have a house, right, or the bar where you're
Mm-hmm.
doing, you have the bar tab. And so at the end of the night, you say, I want to close out my tab, and then they'll make the transaction, that one final transaction on the foundation layer of Bitcoin. But you could do a bunch, you could buy 10 things in the bar, but when you close the tab, then the transaction records on Bitcoin on the
Got it.
foundation. So you only
That's
have technically 2 transactions versus 20 transactions up here in the bar,
that's an
right? Like,
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh no, so just like, for example, right? Like, you just have to sum up your transactions at the end of the night versus like I'm recording every single transaction. Like, I bought 5 beers, and 3 shots, and then at the end of the night you just say, okay, how much do you owe? Oh, you owe $100, and that's the transaction record on Bitcoin on the foundation level, and so that's what the Lightning Network is.
That's great, man. So that is, I mean, that's a really good analogy. Okay. Yeah. See, I'd never heard that before. I've heard the Lightning Network a number of times. Hey, it's going to speed it up, but I never really understood why. And I guess that probably goes
Mhm.
back to that analogy of people don't care about the ingredients of the cookie. I just want a
Yeah.
delicious chocolate chip cookie. But that's a very good explanation of how that works. I mean, because everyone gets that analogy. Like, yeah, I don't want to walk up to the bar 10 times or whatever for all my friends and all
Hmm.
this stuff. I don't want to have to pay every
Correct.
time. Yeah, I just want to, I want to make it easier. So that makes total sense. All right, let's shift to NFTs. So
All right.
NFTs currently on the Ethereum, I guess, network, but other cryptocurrencies, I think you can also do NFTs. I guess I'm not going to get into that or why that really even matters to me, but like I guess NFTs just themselves are super interesting to me, and obviously it's not just art. I know it goes so much deeper than art, but I think that's like a good I think that's a good understanding or whatever. It's a good way. Well, let me not feed you the information. What are your general thoughts, or what would you want to say about NFTs?
Yeah. So
I
I
know
think,
that's a deep question, right? What would you want
yeah.
to say about NFTs? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, man, I just love talking about this stuff, man, and just you can deep dive into it
Mm-hmm.
so hard. Um, NFTs, man. Well, first of all, I think a lot of people ask the question of, are NFTs for real, or what's the value behind it?
Yeah.
I definitely think NFTs are here to stay. I do
Yep.
think we might be in a bit of a bubble, but I'm not an
Yep.
NFT expert. Um,
No one
eh,
is. No one is,
yeah.
man. Like no one can be an expert at this stuff because it's like how can you be an expert at anything that's like on the cusp of supply demand bubble burst, like then coming back through like that, like it's almost like the pandemic. Like we're in real time figuring
Hmm.
out all this stuff. It's not like we're
Yeah.
looking backwards on 10 years of data about NFTs. Like
Yeah.
we're in it right now, right?
Yeah.
So
That's very true.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, by no means, it's like either no one's an expert or like we can all be experts. If you and I have, just like more knowledge than the masses around us, then we're NFT experts. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
either we are or not. But yeah. So carry on if I
Yeah.
didn't destroy your train of thought.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, so it kind of led me to think like, why are people paying so much money for these NFTs, right? Like, why would you be paying like, just for like $1 million for an NFT? The reason why is that you want to flex, right? People, that's just kind of human nature. People
Mm-hmm.
want to show off and say they have money without saying they have money, right? And to me, that made perfect sense, right? Like, why do people buy like Gucci purses or Gucci clothes, right?
Good
It's to
point.
show that they're rich without actually saying that they're rich, and that's the whole market behind it, right? And that's kind of just the way it is. But that's just one part, like the art portion,
Yep.
and we could, yeah, the NFT art space like just totally makes sense too if you think about it.
Yep.
What are you gonna say?
No, I think so. It's so interesting because the art portion of NFTs is almost just like the tip of an iceberg. Yeah, you have this like
Correct.
you have the
Yeah.
sunshine going straight down the middle of your face. It was pretty cool looking, but I was like, I bet that's bothering you the way that it is. It's in your left eye. I don't know. You can keep shifting if you
Yeah.
want to or whatever.
It's
Yeah,
just a
you're gonna
little.
have to keep. You're just gonna have to move with the sun, man. You just got to move with the sun.
I'm a sundial. Human
When it
sundial.
comes back over, you can rotate back over to the middle or whatever.
Yeah.
It's funny. So yeah, like NFT, the art is like one sliver, but I do think that that's a good way for people to understand or to like enter in. Like, so that's my current only involvement. Actually, I lie. No, I have a couple. I bought the Kings of Leon album because it was the first band to like produce an NFT, and like I
Yeah.
haven't even redeemed it. I think the company is trying to figure out like how to do it all and everything. It was kind of
Oh.
weird, but yeah, I have to like, yeah, I get an actual copy of the record or something. But anyways, that's a total separate example. I just thought it was cool and cutting edge, and I was like, I want to be a part of that, you know. Some like I have people that argue, and like these are fair arguments, right? I have friends that I talk to, and they're like, it makes no sense. This is the dumbest thing ever. It's literally a JPEG that I can infinitely copy already, and I'm like, yeah, like totally true. Yet you're assigning almost a barcode or serial number, whatever, to it, right? To say, hey, well, I'm only making X number of copies, even though anyone can infinitely copy it, right? Like once I own it, or anyone on the web, like we can already do that. But I
Mhm.
think like to say that there's limited numbers of a digital art. I also think it's super cool that artists that have been creating cool digital art for years, now some of them are having an opportunity to like figure out how to monetize it and sell the stuff.
Correct.
Like it's
Yeah.
cool stuff, but like, they couldn't, like, there was no way for them to make money unless they were like hired by a company to create the stuff or whatever. But now they can like, man, they can create these cool projects, put them out, and they're it's working, right? For a
Mhm.
lot of people. And like, do I also think that probably 90+% of the current projects are going to zero? I mean, like, yeah, probably, but I'm cool with that. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm just like, let the market decide. Like, let it all play out. Let it all shape out. Um,
Mhm.
I'm still personally like think it's cool and like happy to buy some. Like, I actually, yeah, I the first one I bought, I actually actually flipped it like 2 weeks later and was like, this is crazy, and so I sold
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sold it and made it. So I won't say my money, but like it was like a 1,600% rate of return in 2 weeks. I was like,
Wow.
this is stupid.
Nice.
And then I thought I was gonna just like make all this bank after that, and I didn't. But so now I'm like, now I own like a handful of NFTs, and I'm basically par, right? Like, so I basically own all these pieces of artwork for free. I guess is the way that I kind of look at it in my head.
Mm.
But NFTs translates to so much more than just art, and we can come back to art and keep talking about that. But like, the whole idea of concert tickets that come with other perks, or oh, you can buy time with me, or I don't know, someone could hop on this show and my show gets big in the future, and they can buy that as an NFT. That and then
Yeah.
they could even sell the NFT going forward, and like, like someone doesn't have to cash it in. Like they could sell it to someone else. Maybe that person doesn't cash it in, sell it to someone else, and
Mhm.
then that person cashes in this product, just so much cool stuff can, I think,
Yeah.
happen in NFTs. And like, I think we're just getting there, man. Like, I think we're just starting to even see what maybe the potential is. What do you
Hmm.
think? Like, do you think we're just kind of sampling? Like, I feel like we're just sampling right now with what the opportunity is.
Yeah. No, no. I mean, yeah, I mean, you explained it pretty well. It's all about what's exciting about NFTs is that it's all about ownership,
Hmm.
right? You can claim ownership to a digital product. However, what's really exciting is that you're going to have other things where, like, you can say you have ownership, like you can say you have a real, authentic, original, like Nikes, right? You can tie an NFT to an actual product, is what they're talking about in the future. I'm not sure how exactly that's going to play out. Maybe it's like a barcode on it,
Hmm.
but that's also exciting too because it really solved the problem of, like, if something's authentic or not, right? You can say this is real Nikes, right? And then you can also see all the transactions that are involved with something too, because it's all recorded on the blockchain. So
That's crazy.
this is gonna be great for trading things like what you said. You have tokens. I imagine Disney is probably gonna come out with their own kind of token, where, like what you said, you could have different perks if you have this token. You can be involved with the community more. You could, so there's this endless possibilities in my mind with NFTs.
Yeah, the same. I think I read an article. The same company that was behind Top Shot for the NBA, like doing those clips or whatever, signed deals with multiple other sports groups. And
Mhm.
I'm not even gonna try to say what they are, but like, there was so much success there or whatever that they signed deals with multiple other sporting groups. And so like that's cool because, right, they just
Mhm.
saw what happened there of selling I guess Top Shots. I guess they were selling like mini clips of like from basketball games, and that's a part of the the NFT grade. It's
Mhm.
such a rabbit hole, man. There's so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just artists that are making digital stuff, right? It's not just that. It's also like big companies, like we just talked about, and like you mentioned, Disney. Yeah, Disney will, I guarantee, is figuring out right now. Yeah, how do we? Oh, cool. How do we tie all this in? How do we make this real world ownership of I don't know of characters and new characters formed and all that kind of stuff. Um, I definitely think that's amazing. All right, what else on NFTs can you think of?
Well, I was kind of interested in what projects that you bought.
So I bought on a what? So the only things I bought, I have been on OpenSea a good bit, but I purchased items on a website called Nifty Gateway. So NFT, that's a whole thing too. There are dozens, or at least a dozen that I'm aware of. Like, as me doing research, every time I come across another one, I'm like marketplaces for NFTs. And so
Hmm.
this is Nifty Gateway. They do drops much like other marketplaces. What's pretty cool is that this guy actually makes really cool stuff. What I think is cool is that they have gone and sought after artists that are like top notch, as well as like people that are already known and not known. So like musicians and that kind of stuff, to like collaborate and do projects and that kind of thing. And it's really interesting. So this is where I think I've purchased like seven, like five or seven, I don't know, whatever. The piece I purchased was from a young artist known as like Fuocious or something. I just thought
What
it
you
was
bought?
cool.
Wow, you bought a piece from him?
Oh no, maybe I undersold. This is maybe his stuff's like worth a trillion now or something.
Oh, yeah. All I know is that he's famous. He's one
Oh,
of the
that's
famous
crazy.
NFT artists. Yeah.
Yeah, you know his name. So I purchased a piece. I was like, oh, that's super cool.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, okay, like why not, man? I'll jump in. I'll buy it. And then like, yeah, so I guess I'll say the numbers. I don't mind. I think I paid $1,000 for it. I thought it was amazing. I was like, man, this is super cool. Like, I was like, worst case scenario, I will, this will go up on my wall one day as a piece of art. Like, I'll literally get a frame and hang it up. And
Yeah,
then
you might as
like
well.
2 weeks later, I think I sold it for like a little over $3,000 or something. It was,
Whoa.
or 3,500, no, 30, like $3,800 or something. It was crazy. It was in like 2 weeks. I was like, this is insane. And then right after that, the bubble kind of like popped, but now it's come back. By no means do I think, people should be trying to like invest or flip NFTs by any means. Like, this is not advice to do that. Yes, I made money. I made money on an NFT. I think what I would do going forward is only purchase things that I just think are like cool art. And if I were going to buy it as art, like I would buy it. So I myself got into a little bit of the craze. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, these things are just like skyrocketing. In fact, I recently, one of them that just popped up on the screen down here, actually, I had, let me see. I had bought it and then I saw this guy here, Faces. I bought it. I don't like it. Like, to me, it's not, it's not something I would buy, but I bought it in the craze. I was like, oh, that's cool. And so I bought it in the craze. And then someone recently bought it from me. Like, you can put prices on them in Nifty Gateway of just like, okay, I would sell it for this. And then it disappeared out of my collection, like maybe a month ago or something like that. So, but yeah, so I know, and that Nifty. So what's interesting to me about Nifty Gateway is that people can buy using credit cards. That's, to me, that's one of the interesting pieces, because you don't have to be knowledgeable about crypto. You don't have to like figure out how to get Ethereum and then transfer it and then buy with Ethereum. I was like, this is interesting. I don't know how they've done this, but they straight up accept credit card payments. Nifty Gateway is owned by this company called Gemini. I honestly don't even know what Gemini does, but Gemini is owned by the Winklevoss twins, the dudes that said they started Facebook and sued Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. And interesting enough, Nifty Gateway was owned by a set of identical twins that sold the company to another identical set of twins, which is crazy to me. But
maybe it's like the twin community, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So that's Nifty Gateway. I guess like I'm also on OpenSea, like is probably the largest NFT marketplace. I think, as far as I know. So if people haven't heard of OpenSea, like, you can check out OpenSea. Which, like, if you're looking at this, you're seeing digital art. Like, if you're watching this on YouTube with us, you're seeing digital art. So yeah, OpenSea is the largest marketplace, but there's tons of others, man. Like, are you aware of other ones that are out there? Or?
Yeah, I am. I've been dabbling a little. My strategy with buying NFTs is I want to get on the pre-list or minting. So I try to find these projects where they have these pre-sales before it's actually released on like OpenSea or Nifty Gateway.
Okay.
But the thing is that they have different various ways in which you could kind of get on this list. Like, one, you have to be involved with community, or you have to like win a competition, or you have to like contribute to the community and gain ranking, and then you might get on the whitelist. So it's definitely kind of a more, shall I say, long-term kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you have to do all that versus just like go on an exchange and say like, okay, I want this NFT, I'm gonna buy it. But I'm trying to look for those NFTs where I can buy it for a cheaper price, because from my understanding that once it's released on an exchange, the price jumps up, like, from like, it can jump up from like 0.2 ETH to 5 Ether,
Yeah, exactly. And the question too is like, how do you figure out? And I don't know these answers. And actually, I'll tell you this. So when I got on Nifty, I got kind of excited. I actually paid a software guy I've worked with before. I was like, man, I want data. I want to see if I can find some find some cracks in here where I can use this data and figure out what's about to pop or what's about to whatever. And I used that data for a little while, and honestly, it was like right when it like I'm going to use the term collapse, but there was a large drop off in NFT purchases, and I was like, okay, I don't know. I'm paying for this data. I don't really see any benefit from this. But yeah, I think if you can figure out, like, how can you figure out what projects are going to potentially be big, or you know what I mean? Like that's important information. Like if that's something that can be figured out, you know, that's huge, right? Maybe it's an artist that's already known, and they've already made a name for themselves, and they're making another project. You know, like that's one way. Man, I'm happy to keep in touch with you specifically on NFTs, like, and just us ping back and forth on this stuff on NFTs, because it's definitely interesting to me, and like I would totally invest in some more for like the art's sake. And I'm not a big art guy, man. Like you know, people buy art all day long off the street vendors, places, and pay, you know, they may pay, oh, I'll pay $500 for that right here. That's cool. And I don't see the value a lot of times, right? Like a lot of times I don't see the value, but people see the value and they're like, oh, I want to hang it on my wall. I met the artist. Like that has real tangible feelings. And this is kind of like that. It's almost like it's reversed for me. It's almost like now I see the value in this in digital versions, and other people are like, what? That's ridiculous. It's almost like the tables are turned a little bit. So I find that interesting, but I
mean, just one more thing that I want to add on to what you just said. The other part about NFTs that are exciting is the roadmap and the community, because now you could be involved with like an NFT community in different ways versus just saying like, you know, I want this art piece and I'm put on my wall. Now, like, for example, like these communities are like having like merch. So if you buy NFT, you can receive merch for your NFT that you got. You can actually receive a physical copy of your NFT. They also have like where you can actually put these NFTs in games. So they're going to be developing games on top of that, and you could play your NFT character or art in the game too. So all these NFTs are really exciting because they have different roadmaps where they kind of talk about like their vision for all this. And it's kind of cool to see this community built, because then you could be part of the exclusive club that owns this NFT, right? And like, you know, just kind of network with people and, you know, have fun with them.
That sounds really cool. I never thought about that. Yeah, you're right. So let's say 1,000 people think something is cool and they all own it, and they all get connected. And I'm like, yeah, you have that in common. You have that in common with each other. I mean, like that already happens in the real world, right? Like people that own a certain type of car, like for example, like a Tesla. I was just thinking about that because there's like Facebook groups, like in Alabama, there's a Tesla Facebook group, and everyone's like, oh yeah, like, you know, there's like Jeep clubs, like people love to bond over something similar, right? Like, and yeah, you're right, that's super interesting. And so NFTs are like, it allows that you can connect people digitally, and then in the real world, right? So I mean, all that can come to play. So something I wanted to add, it's almost like disclaimer to anyone that's listening to this. It's like, dude, I'm hopping out there. I'm spending all this money. I'm going to buy a bunch of NFTs. We said earlier, or I said earlier, that I think the majority of projects potentially are going to be worthless. Like, but like, that's okay. Like that's a price to pay. If it has value to you, like go for it. Also, there's plenty of mischievous stuff happening in the NFT world. People pumping and dumping, like same thing that happens in cryptocurrencies. Like people are driving values of certain items up, just to create extreme value, and then, you know, disappearing rings of friends that are like high in crypto that are buying each other's projects to drive up demand. Then other people come in and then also invest. So like that's a very real thing. And so people just need to be aware that like that's a very potential thing that could happen. I'm not going to switch gears because it's still NFTs. Have you heard of Zed Run? You ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
All right, let me try to find this. It's digital horse racing. It's NFT horse racing.
Oh, awesome.
Zed.run digital horse racing. I'm gonna put it up. I haven't looked close. I've heard on there's this other podcast I listen to a lot called My First Million. and they've talked about it a number of times. So I was like, all right, dude, I need to at least like look into this. So it's NFT. It's literally an NFT horse. Like it works like the real world horses work. So you invest in a horse. Your horse, you can like breed your horse. Your horse
Whoa.
races. It's
Uh-huh.
all done, I think, like by AI or whatever, like how the horses win or lose, and you win real money, lose real money. I say money. I guess it's
Awesome.
yeah. And so like it's crazy. Like they're everywhere I turn, Sean. Everywhere I turn, man, there's like new stuff. There's new
Yeah.
this, there's new that.
New ways to lose money.
New ways to lose money. I guess you could say make money, but yeah, it's
Uh,
I mean, this is wild west, right? Like I would
yeah.
say this is very wild west. Um oh, so like let me as we should probably we'll kind of come to a conclusion of this talk, and we'll do it again in the future. But like let's say I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna call it throwing money at crypto because I don't know, but just because there's so much volatility, question marks, what's gonna happen, it's risky, right? I'm not even gonna ask you like where should I put the money, but I mean, let's just say I have $500 or whatever. Um, should I like what should I even do to decide or make a call? And let's say with this $500, my intention is to be super risky. I'm like, hey man, I'm looking for 1600% return. I'm looking for the Dogecoin. I'm looking for whatever. Like what like do you think it's just completely is it completely throwing darts at the board and just seeing what happens, or is there some level of research, or like what would you do to even if we're talking to people that are listening to this, like how do they even start if they just wanted to like maybe have a shot at making some crazy money?
Oh man.
I know that's like
That,
deep question, right?
yeah, that's a loaded question, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, well, first of all, you should only invest in something that you understand, right?
Great point.
And I understand you want to get 16,000% gain, and that's fine. You just have to accept the fact that that can be super risky, right?
Yep.
So, um, so yes, going back to crypto, I mean, you could just basically, to get that kind of gain, you have to invest in a small market cap coin, and the smaller coins definitely have a lot more risk. We're
Yeah.
gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna jump in and say, you know what? I don't even know if we should call it investing. The way that I pose the question,
Hmm.
uh, maybe investing. I mean, I guess investing with the most extremely high risk product or investment ever, or I could just call it. I could just call it gambling, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I could just be real with what it is because, but you made a good point. You said, hey, you shouldn't invest in something you don't understand. Um, I guess I go a layer deeper. I'm like, how can anyone understand this stuff? Because it's like, um,
Hmm.
it's so intricate and so involved. I mean, especially something that's early on, like a small coin, like you mentioned. Like, how can
Hmm.
anyone know or have any solid feel about like the actual future?
Yeah.
I guess you can read the problem that they're trying to solve and then see if you feel that okay,
Yeah.
one, I think this is actually a problem that exists, and like, yep, someone needs to solve this. I mean,
Hmm.
is that maybe a step
Yeah.
that you would take when trying to understand?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's a layer of trying to understand what you're investing in, right? That's the fundamental analysis where you read the white paper of a crypto and you try to figure out what problem are they solving? Why this coin, in existence? Another thing you can look at is on-chain analytics. So with on-chain analytics, crypto is all about adoption, right?
Yep.
Adoption, um, and momentum too is also a factor of it. But like you can look at the number of wallets. How many wallets are out there that actually are active and trading that cryptocurrency, right? And that's an actual analytical piece of data you can actually look at to see, okay, this cryptocurrency is actually being used and adopted. So
Interesting.
those are things you could look at to figure out if something is actually being used.
That's a great point. Is that easy? Is that information easy to find? The number of wallets. I guess there's maybe like a company or website that would like put that
Yeah,
stuff out in some kind of chart or table or something.
yeah, yeah. There's a website called Into the Blocks where you
Okay.
can look at the on-chain analytics. I don't believe they have a lot of small altcoins, but I believe they're
Hmm.
working on that. Um, and like for example, you can also look at their social media, like how many Twitter followers they have. I know it's like,
Good point.
ridiculous, but that's
No.
adoption right there, right? How many people actually following them, interacting with them, that's another thing too. And another big thing about investing in cryptocurrency is that it's the team behind it.
Hmm.
So it's important to look at who the management team, like, like are they software programmers? Do they have a good education? Were they involved with Ethereum and they switched over to another cryptocurrency? So that's also another factor.
No, that's huge. Is this the type of stuff that you do, like that you're looking into? I need just
I try I
I
try
need to just
to,
pay
but
you, man. Just like
yeah,
pay you to give me tips or something, or say like, hey, man, here's some money.
yeah,
Go throw it out there. Let's see what we can do or
yeah.
something.
I try to. Just there's so much information, so many coins out there, and everything's moving so fast, especially with Bitcoin uh, surpassing its previous all-time high. So the market's definitely heating up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like how rapid, because like you're looking at the stuff daily. So like how fast is stuff changing or information wise or new coins or new info, like at what pace is this progressing?
Yeah, I don't know, days. I
It's
mean,
crazy.
yeah, like they say with NFT, like like data or knowledge, like if weeks go by, that could be like several months in terms of just like speed, like the adoption and how things are changing are by like weeks.
That is so crazy. That's insane,
Yeah.
man. Well, one more time, I'll put your let me put your channel up here so people can go and find you. And invest with fire on YouTube, and I'll put your links down in the description of the video as well, so people can connect with you. But any last thoughts or anything that we didn't touch on, or anything related that you'd wanna say before we hop off?
Dogecoin to the moon, man. Uh,
Dogecoin to the moon. Okay,
yeah.
so Dogecoin all the way, huh?
No, no, I don't actually know Dogecoin, but I just love Dogecoin. Dogecoin is like the best cryptocurrency in my opinion. Just if you read their website, it's hilarious. Um,
I have never
yeah.
been to their website. I think I actually own some Doge.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I don't know, like, well, like Mark Q. Well, I mean, you can buy it on Robinhood, so it's like it's pretty easy. I have a Robinhood app, so I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll buy some Dogecoin. Mark Cuban, I guess the Dallas Mavericks owner, was saying like, nah, man, this actually has like real utility. I think his their stadium actually I think is taking Doge, and
Oh
so now, like that's obviously not like mass adoption. That's not like worldwide adoption, but like it's actual
yeah,
it sounds like it's actual utility. Like they're like
oh yeah,
figuring out how to actually accept it and actually take it. So
yeah,
what does that mean long term? I don't know. I have no idea,
yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah, yeah.
it's
I mean, well, I guess we'll see, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I guess we'll see. But like related to that, it's funny because it's funny for a coin that was created, I guess, out of we're going to call it a meme coin. Um,
Yeah,
there
a
was
joke.
a joke. So let's call it a joke, but there was a lot of energy put into creating that joke, if it's a joke, right? Like, so if you think about
Mhm.
it, like, is a joke really worth all of that? My friend went to a conference, and I think he actually got these, like, this is like whatever, a number of years ago, these certificates that were printed off for like Dogecoin. They're like, here you go. And they were like marketing and promoting and giving out Doge to people. I'm like, I don't know. Like, when I think about it, like, what would the purpose be? I mean, maybe it's a joke, but like, why would you market that hard for just a joke? Like, wouldn't
Mhm.
you? Is there some little piece that of them underlying that says this could actually be something, and we're calling it a joke, but like
Yeah.
we're actually pushing really hard. You know
Huh.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean, well, Dogecoin was invented by the creator just to make fun of all the other cryptocurrencies, and his point was, if I just slap a dog on something and call it a cryptocurrency, let's because that's what all the cryptocurrencies were doing. They're just kind of copying each other
yeah,
and just putting a different logo on it and just putting it out there, and that was kind of his like little dig at the whole cryptocurrency market. But it would be, so great that a joke coin would become the cryptocurrency of the world. Like, how ironic would that be?
That would be insanely ironic. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like a guy or whoever creator, I guess, had a bunch of money and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make this joke because this is ridiculous," and then look at it, and then look at it now.
Hmm.
That's kind of crazy. So,
Yeah.
all right, man. Well, Sean, man, it's been awesome connecting with you. I appreciate connecting with you. And I hope we can do this again soon. In fact, Brad that was commenting earlier said he was like, man, I have all this macro or thoughts on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We should do a 3-person
Mhm.
conversation. So like what we'll do is next time when I do this, maybe all 3 of us can hop on a live call
That'd be
and do it
awesome.
again. So, all right, man.
Yeah,
Well, I
that is
appreciate
cool.
it. Take care. Talk to you soon. Doge to the moon, man.
Doge to the moon.
See ya.
All right, bye.
Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We'd love for you to share it, maybe with a friend, review it, and don't hesitate to reach out and say hello. You can connect with us and see the resources that we talk about at destroytheboxwith.us. That's www.destroytheboxwith.us. See ya.